You're listening to the Unstoppable Teen Podcast, episode number 18. Welcome to Unstoppable Teen, the podcast for teenagers, parents, and teachers. My name is Kevin Mincher. Every week, we will bring you an inspirational person or message to help you experience more success and happiness. Thanks for hanging out with us. Let's get this party started. Hello, Unstoppable Nation, it's Kevin here. Welcome to the show. This episode is all about the teen guide to better friends and relationships. There's two reasons why I'm going to cover this topic today. First of all, in our last episode, if you were listening, I interviewed Errol Lawson, and Errol talked about there being four kinds of friends. First of all, there are the adders in this world, those that when you tell them your goals, they want to add to you. They want to tell you that you're brilliant, you're great, and that you can do it. They add to the quality of your life. He said then there are the takers. Those people that aren't really interested in you and your goals. They just want to sap all of your energy and take everything from you. Then he said there are the worst kind of people, the dividers. Those who make it their mission to quash your dreams and stamp all over your quality of life. And whether that's in school or out of school, it doesn't matter where, but there are the dividers who make it a mission to mess things up. And then he said, there are the best kind of people, the kind of person that you want to be. And that's the multiplier. Not only do they say to you, you can do it, I believe in you, but they'll go out of their way to love, encourage, support, and respect you. So the question is, how do you become that kind of person? How do you become a multiplier? Now, as Errol said in his session, the interview with him, he talked about how really he got it from his mentor, and his mentor probably got it from a guy called Jim Rohn, the adders, takers, the dividers and the multipliers when it comes to relationships. I don't really care where it came from. I think it's a great idea. There's a second reason why I want to cover this topic here today, the teen guide to better friends and relationships. And that is, for me, a more important reason. I got a message via social media recently from Jenny in New South Wales, all the way down under. When it's daytime here, it's nighttime there in Australia. When it's nighttime there, it's daytime here. It's all weird. It's upside down. Did you know, down under, the water, when it goes down a plug hole, it goes in the opposite direction to what it does up here in the Northern Hemisphere? Random factoid for you. But anyway, I got this message from Jenny via social media, and she was saying how that she often feels isolated and feels alone. And I don't think any young person should feel isolated or alone. I think the teenage years are a great time to build high-quality friendships and develop supportive relationships with people who love, care, and adore you. And the problem is that very rarely are we ever taught how to do it. And so that's what this session is all about. Before we get stuck into this session, I want to say a belated happy Thanksgiving to our friends who are listening in North America. At the time I'm recording this, people in the US and in Canada are celebrating Thanksgiving, and it's not a tradition that we have here in the UK, but I think it's a brilliant tradition, and it's one that I wish we had. You know, where you express your gratitude? And it got me thinking about this topic today, about teen friendships and how to make them better and how to have better and more supportive relationships in our lives. And I got to be thinking, and I don't know why, an old movie popped into my head called Pay It Forward. I don't know if you've ever watched it, but Kevin Spacey's in it. I've forgotten who the lady is that's in there. A really famous female actress, and her name's on the tip of my tongue. Helen, I can't remember. Anyway, I strongly recommend you watch this movie because I think it gives some fantastic principles about how to improve friendships and relationships. Understandably, when we're young, we're often focused on what we can get from the situation that we're in. You know, when we're a child, really adults train us to be on the receiving end of lots of gifts. Of course, in many parts of the world right now, we're building up to the holiday season. Some of us will be celebrating Christmas, others won't. But oftentimes at that time, teenagers are focused on what they're going to get. They're building their shopping list that they want to send off to Santa, and they're hoping that they're going to receive lots of gifts and presents. Our focus is in, what am I going to get? What am I going to get? What am I going to get? And really, when it comes to relationships, if you want brilliant relationships, your focus needs to be entirely the opposite. Instead of what am I going to get, your focus should be what am I going to give. You see, in this movie called Pay It Forward, it's set in elementary school, or as we call it here in Britain, primary school. And a primary school teacher sets their class a challenge to come up with an idea that would change the world. How about you take on that challenge? To come up with something, to invent something, to create something, to have an idea that would change the world and would change it for the better. I mean, if you were going to come up with an idea that could make this planet a better place to live, what would your idea be? And the child that plays one of the main characters in Pay It Forward comes up with an idea that he calls Pay It Forwards. In other words, instead of waiting for somebody to do something brilliant for you, you first go out of your way and do something brilliant for them. And he said, if you do 3 kind things for 3 different people, and then they pay it forwards, and they do something kind and generous for 3 more people each, then you've reached 9 people. And if those 9 people pay it forwards and they do something kind and generous each for 3 more people, you can do the math. It multiplies forwards, and suddenly you're helping tens, hundreds, thousands, millions, and billions of people. But you see, most people don't have that philosophy. They're not thinking about what can I do to make a difference to other people. They're thinking, what can other people do to make a difference for me? And today I want to challenge you to shift your focus. When it comes to improving teenage friendships and teenage relationships, start to consider, how do I become a multiplier? What can I do to encourage my friends? What can I do to support my family? What can I do to make a difference? What we're talking about here, folks, are random acts of kindness. Instead of waiting for a special occasion like a birthday, a wedding, an anniversary, Christmas, bat mitzvah, whatever it may be, just go out of your way to do something nice for other people. It's a random, as in not predictable, act of kindness, something that was generous and that made a difference to somebody else. I was the lucky recipient of one of these things this week. You see, when most teenagers were focused on the sales, in many parts of the world, we've just had Black Friday where everything goes on sale and everybody's thinking, what can I get? What can I get? What are people going to buy for me? There was a girl at a school at Kingswood Academy in Hull where I recently presented a seminar who wasn't focused on herself. She wasn't focused on what she was going to get. Instead, she did a random act of kindness that touched my heart. I've been working really hard recently, travelling lots of miles, presenting lots of seminars in schools all over the country. I've been in Hull, I've been in Leicester, I've been in Mansfield, I've been in Manchester, I've been in my hometown of Doncaster where I was born and raised. I've been up and down the motorway, staying in hotels, oftentimes being the first person to arrive in a school in the morning and the last one to leave at night. I've been, frankly, honestly, exhausted. And every day I've been getting up, getting on stage and presenting for 8 or 9 hours a day, and it's beginning to take its toll on my body. And a couple of days ago, I got home, I collapsed on the sofa, and all I wanted to do was go to sleep. And I thought, I better check my emails just before I go to bed. I've been on the road, there's probably some urgent messages waiting for me that I need to deal with for my business. And as I flicked on my laptop and I started looking at these messages, this girl, a student, I won't name her name because I don't want to cause her any embarrassment in her school in case anybody else is listening there. It's funny how sometimes people bully other people when they do kind things. I don't really understand that. But anyway, this girl from Kingswood Academy over in Hull took it upon herself to go home and go to our website and write a letter of appreciation. She didn't write directly to me, she just addressed it to Unstoppable Teen. And she addressed the whole company and expressed her thanks and her appreciation for the things that we do, whether that's through our seminars, through our app, through our emails, newsletters, through the podcast that you're listening to right now. And I got to tell you, it brought a tear to my eye. When you're working so hard, it's sometimes easy to get caught up in the stress of it all. And there was one thoughtful teenager who lives a long way away from my home, who did a random act of kindness, who made me feel like it was all worthwhile. She gave me my energy back. She inspired me to want to get a good night's sleep and go and do it all again the next day at another school. Just when I was starting to feel a bit stressed. See, that's the power of a random act of kindness. And it doesn't have to cost you a lot of money. In this case, it was somebody sending a free email. It was just that thoughtfulness made a big difference to me. So I'm wondering, what random acts of kindness could you do over the course of the next month to help the people that you appreciate in your life? Just this summertime that passed by, it was a summer vacation. I was on holiday and I bought a few tickets to go to a music festival. It's called the Leeds Festival here in Britain. It's quite a big festival. Oftentimes it features on the radio and on national TV. And I was going to go with a couple of my best friends, Craig and Alison, with their daughter Olivia. We were all going to go to the Leeds Festival. And I bought a spare ticket because I wanted to be able to take a girl that I just started dating. I know what you're thinking. I couldn't believe it either. Somebody said yes to go out on a date with me. Unbelievable. Anyway, I bought this spare ticket. I was all excited about taking this girl I was dating on this trip to this music festival. And then a week or so before the festival, the girl said, I can't go. I'm really sorry. I've made these other commitments. I didn't know that you got this surprise ticket for me, and I can't go. I can't get out of it. And so now I was left with this one ticket, and first of all, I was really frustrated. I was a little bit disappointed and even angry that, this girl that I was dating had chosen something else over me. But of course, then I came to understand that she'd already made this other commitment. She couldn't go back on her word. And I'm now sat with this expensive ticket. It cost me a lot of money. And I'm thinking, what am I going to do with this ticket? And I decided to turn this bad experience into a good one. And so I started to think, right, I'm going to do a random act of kindness. I'm not going to give this ticket to one of my other friends. I'm going to give it to a random stranger who would really love to go to a festival, but maybe couldn't normally afford to go there. And so I was looking, every day when I was, in my apartment building, meeting random people on the street, in schools, working, and I'm thinking, who can I give this free ticket to? Who can I give this gift to? Who can I do this random act of kindness for that would make them smile and make them think that the world isn't all bad, that there are multipliers out there that want to help them have more fun in their life. Anyway, one particular day I was at the gym. And as I was at the gym, there was a new guy that was doing some cleaning in the gym. We got chatting. I'd been for a swim and I was getting showered and changed, and he was in there cleaning the floors. And I started saying to him, I said, "Hey, how are you?" And he's like, "Yeah, not bad." I said, what do you love doing? What do you enjoy doing in your spare time, your hobbies and things? He said, "Oh, I love music." And immediately I started to think, he could be the guy that I give the ticket to. And so I started asking him about what kind of music he was into, and he started sharing, and he had this really wide, eclectic mix of music. He wasn't really into mainstream music. He was into all kinds of different stuff. We had this great conversation about music. And then I said to him, "Do you like going to festivals?" He said, "Oh, I love going to festivals." He said, "Problem is I can't go, I'm kind of in between jobs at the moment. I'm doing this cleaning at the moment, but it doesn't really make enough money. And I kind of love to go some more gigs, but I just can't do it. I can't afford it." And right there and then I decided that he was the right person that deserved to have the ticket, and maybe I could do a random act of kindness for him. So off I left that day, and I sort of thought about it overnight, and then the next day I went to the gym. He was there again, and he was cleaning away, and I asked him, I said, what are you doing next weekend? The Leeds Festival's on. Do you fancy going? And his first response was, "Well, yeah, I'd love to go, but, like I said, the last time I was with you, I've got no money. I can't afford it." I said, No. I said, "Look, I've got a spare ticket, and I'd really love you to have it." You would think I had given this guy a winning lottery ticket. He sort of welled up, and he was taken aback. He said, "Really?" He said, "How much do you want for it?" I said, No, I don't want anything for it. It's a gift. I said, "I tell you what, meet me here at 8 o'clock in the morning. I'll pick you up. I'll take you there. You can hang out with us. You can go on your own. It's up to you." I said, "But, I'd love you to have the ticket." And since then, Aaron and I have become friends. And it's little random acts of kindness. Now, hopefully, Aaron has gone and then paid it forward. So he's done a random act of kindness for somebody else. and that they would have gone and done a random act of kindness for another person. And slowly but surely, by lots of people like me and like you and like Aaron that are doing random acts of kindness, we become multipliers. Those kinds of people that other people enjoy spending their time around. Who are you going to do a random act of kindness for? So let's wrap this guide to better teen friendships and relationships up with a little challenge. Really what we've been talking about throughout this whole session is that in relationships, you get what you give. And if you give random acts of kindness, or in other words, if you become an adder and a multiplier in your relationships towards other people, then they'll become an adder and a multiplier in your life too. What you give is what you get back. So Jenny in New South Wales, it is sad that you've been feeling isolated and alone. But what that is it's feedback that you need to go out into the world and become more of an adder and a multiplier in other people's lives. I want to set you, and everybody else for that matter that's listening, a 3-part challenge. The first part to the challenge is to do a random act of kindness for somebody that's in your family or in your extended family. You know, whether it's your mum, your dad, your brother, your sister, a next door neighbour, somebody who's close to you and in your family, and do something for them that they don't expect. You know, while everybody else is focused on Black Friday and everything that's on sale in this commercial, capitalist, consumer society when it comes to Cyber Monday, as this episode gets released, and the build up to the festive season when everybody else is creating their shopping lists and wants to receive more, you're not focused on that. You're focused on what you can give. And if you give respect, you'll get more respect. If you give more love and encouragement and support, you'll get more love, encouragement and support. What you give is what you get. And if you have money to spend, by all means, buy a gift. But oftentimes, the best gifts are the ones that were free of charge, but required you to be thoughtful and to take action. The gift that the girl at the school at Kingswood Academy in Hull gave to me this week didn't cost her a penny. It cost her a little bit of time and a lot of thought. The best gift she could have given me was the one that she gave, and that was an expression of her appreciation and her gratitude. And by just taking that short 2 minutes or 5 minutes of her time, she lit me up inside, gave me my energy and enthusiasm back, and made me want to give more, not just to her community, but to other schools around the country as well. So in step 2 of this challenge, I want to encourage you to go and do a random act of kindness for somebody at school. It could be a teacher, or it could be one of your friends. On the other hand, what about all those support staff that are in schools right now? You know, all those people that work in the front office and the back office, that do all the printing, that do all of the cleaning, that maintain all the equipment, that keep the school functioning. When was the last time you did a random act of kindness for those people? When did you pay it forward to them, or do you just go into school and take it all for granted? You just assume that it should be cleaned up for you. You just assume that they should do the printing and take care of the accounts and pay all of the bills. Do you just assume that and take it for granted? Or are you going to do something to pay it forwards and make a difference and express your gratitude? Thirdly, I want to encourage you to do a random act of kindness to become an adder or a multiplier, as Errol, Lawson and Jim Rohn used to put it, for somebody that you would like to become part of your friendship group or to become part of your network. Maybe somebody could help you develop your future career. You know, instead of waiting and hoping for them to reach out to you, maybe you could reach out to them. Now, please understand, I'm not saying that you should go walking down dark alleys in the middle of the night doing random acts of complete and utter strangers that could put your life and your health at risk. Don't do that. Please think, who would I like in my friendship group? Who would I like to be a part of my life? And figure out how you can do something for them. And the more you do for them, the more likely they're going to want to do something in return for you. There you go, folks. The Teen Guide to Better Relationships and Better Friendships is all about becoming an adder or a multiplier by doing random acts of kindness that make a difference. If you found this useful, please share it with other people. In particular, share it with somebody maybe like Jenny in New South Wales who's feeling alone and isolated, where you start to encourage people to reach out and make a difference, and they'll get more in return. Please also take time to subscribe. You can do that on iTunes if you have an Apple device, or on SoundCloud if you have a different type of device. And of course, to get the show notes to today's episode, go to unstoppableteen.com/18. This is episode 18, so go to unstoppableteen.com/18. If you really want to take your relationships to the next level, go and download the Unstoppable Teen free app. In the free app, you can access every single episode of the podcast. You can access our weekly articles that we publish every week in our blog. And if you want to, you could download one of the optional extras, like the Turbo program. The R in Turbo is all about relationships. And I share a technique in there called the conversation map. It helped me overcome my loneliness and isolation in my teenage years, and I wanted to pay it forwards and share that with other people. So be sure, if you want to boost your confidence when it comes to relationships, check out the Turbo section of the Unstoppable Teen app. Okay, folks, I've enjoyed sharing this very brief but easy to use insights. When it comes to relationships, the quality of your relationships is all down to the quality of the depth of your giving and your generosity. So go out there, and in this time when the majority of the world is focused on what they can get, start thinking about how you can give and how you can make a difference. I'm looking forward to seeing you soon in another episode of the Unstoppable Teen podcast, when we'll help you become truly unstoppable. Bye for now.